Sometimes children get stuck in their patterns and they're just not making progress. We have continual anger or meanness or disrespect or defiance, and they're just stuck where they are. And in those cases, we certainly find that reward and punishment doesn't work very well. We have to move to a different model. A heart-based approach is much more strategic as we're helping children with tendencies. Remember, tendencies are in the heart. So this child who tends to say no when they should say okay or yes has a problem. It's a stronghold inside, and they need work to overcome this. And we jump in right away in the coaching program and help start building some of this responsiveness inside of children that they need. But one key way that we do this is by having a child develop what we call a T-chart. And then the T-chart, it has some very specific things the child's going to do whenever they feel like they're getting angry. How are they going to stop the eruption from taking place? And we're looking for two things in this on the left side of this T-chart. We're looking for things the child's going to do and things the child's going to say to himself. Very important that we have those two things. Really, the idea comes from the scriptures when we see in Psalm 19:14, may the words of my mouth and the meditation of my heart be pleasing in your sight, Lord, my rock and my redeemer. The words of my mouth, that's what's coming out, but the meditations in my heart, the things I'm saying to myself are very important. And if a child's going to overcome anger episodes, or a child's going to become more respectful, then they need to say different things inside of their heart. So we're going to list things the child's going to do and say. The child's going to write on the left-hand side, but on the right-hand side, anybody can write there. And sometimes we go and encourage children to interview other people. Let's go interview grandma or your brother or your sister. Because if we're dealing with anger, for example, everyone has a plan for anger, whether they're using it or not. You can ask this question to grandma. You can say, what do you do when you're starting to get angry so that you don't have an episode with your anger? And we listen to what grandma has to say. Now, if we listen to a lot of people, then on the right-hand side, we have all these ideas, but the child still needs to pull the ideas over to the left-hand side so that they can move forward. And sometimes we have to motivate children who don't want to participate in this activity by saying something like, look, there's no more video games. There's no more playing on the computer, watching YouTube videos until you're able to respond and fill out this chart. We're going to work on this. This is something that's very important for you to work on. Now, once we have the plan, then we want the child to be placed into the workshop of their heart more often. So we're going to say, go play with your brother. But when you start to feel angry, I want you to come back out here and choose one of the things on your list. Or we're going to say, I'm going to say no to you more often. So you can practice these things now that you have a plan. Or we're going to say, I'm going to interrupt you at times when you're on your video so that you can learn how to respond better to me in this situation. This is going to help you in your heart to be able to have a greater character, a greater responsiveness. A character quality is made up of both thinking and acting. A person who's more organized thinks and acts differently than a person who's unorganized. So we define a character quality as a pattern of thinking and acting in response to a challenge. So we're going to help a child develop more kindness or more respect by working on these two areas of what they think, what they say to themselves, and how they respond, their actions that they take, so that they can develop the character necessary. So character quality is the goal, but the way we get there may require some extra work because the stronghold that exists in the child's heart needs to be addressed. And in those cases, then this T-chart idea may be of help to you as you're trying to address the difficulty this child is experiencing so that they can get unstuck and they can start moving in a direction that's more satisfying, having the life skills to deal with the challenges they face now.